This is Oklahoma Perspective. Canoo is a startup company in Oklahoma that plans to build special use electric vehicles in the state. There are 2 manufacturing plants in Oklahoma. While the startup company has had its challenges, Vice President Chris Moore tells KRMG's Russell Mills there has been progress.
When you're working with Oklahoma, that puts you in a unique position of working with several different sovereign nations at the same time. And I noticed today you guys announced that you've reached some agreements with, I believe, the state of Oklahoma, as well as the Cherokee Nation. Chris, can you kind of tell us, what's new, what's happening today?
Sure. Well, Russell, first of all, thanks so much for having us on. Pleased to be here. We are delighted that we've reached agreement today with the state of Oklahoma. We've completed formal contracting and approval processes to begin benefiting from incentives the state has offered for us to locate manufacturing in the state. We will assemble our electric vehicles in Oklahoma City and produce the battery modules that go into our vehicles out in Pryor, Oklahoma. We also have been very pleased to work with a number of different organizations across the state as we look at how we want to begin hiring for the more than 1,360 folks that we will need to man and staff these facilities in Oklahoma City and Pryor. And so we've announced also today that we've reached an agreement with the Cherokee Nation that will be supporting us to help hire and train workers at our Pryor facility, which is located in the Cherokee Nation.
And finding enough workers, finding enough trained workers is going to be among the challenges. You said 1,300. That's a lot of manpower, person power, I should say. And that's going to be some specialized training you wouldn't normally just come across in your day-to-day life, because we're talking about electric vehicles. And we'll talk a little bit more about what Canoo is and what you guys are creating, but talk to me about the challenges that presents, trying to find the trained workers that you're going to need to do this.
Recruiting workers, always a challenge when you're standing up a new manufacturing facility. The good news is that we've been really pleased at the priority that the state government, but also tribal leaders, local governments have devoted to worker training. And so we're finding that there's a fantastic ecosystem of support across the state to help us identify skilled workers, but also train workers for the specific jobs that we will be bringing to the state. These are good advanced manufacturing jobs and a great emerging industry. We know that there will be a lot of interest in them, and we're looking at how we can best train and equip them. And so we're working not only with tribal governments, but also with state government agencies, with universities, with career tech organizations across the state. And so really pleased with the partnerships that we've developed. The state of Oklahoma, of course, has put a lot of priority on this. The governor has created a new cabinet level position for workforce. And so we think that speaks well to the priority that we're seeing here.
Yes, our Lieutenant Governor, Matt Pinnell, is going to be, I believe, in charge of that. Secretary of Workforce, Labor and Workforce Development. Matt's a great guy. Matt's a great guy. So you mentioned that, let's tell people a little bit about Canoo. And you guys are a startup and are building EVs. And, Oklahoma has this sort of odd love-hate relationship, I think, with the idea of EVs, because we're intrigued and we love our cars and our gadgets and our toys. And frankly, Oklahoma's kind of ahead of the curve on building out the infrastructure for like charging stations and stuff like that. So we're there. And at the same time, we have a fossil fuel industry that's kind of looking over its shoulder going, uh-oh, what does this mean for us? So it's got to feel good that you guys are getting a warm reception from the governor and the lieutenant governor, and I would imagine the business community writ large in Oklahoma. Yes?
That's correct. We've been very pleased with the warm welcome that we've received from Oklahomans across the state, whether it's in government, state, local, tribal, but also in the business community and citizens that we've met in lots of different parts of the state as we've traveled around and gotten to know our new neighborhoods and our new home. We believe that we're bringing a great opportunity for the state to get on the ground floor of the electric mobility revolution that's happening across the country, but also around the world, and to make that part of a growing and more diverse state economy.
So I read a day or two ago that the city of San Francisco has now basically authorized the use of completely autonomous taxi cabs. And that is just the tip of the iceberg, baby, of where we're going with EVs. We're going to see long haul trucks. We're going to see school buses. We're going to see, this is all going to happen. I don't think it's a if anymore. I think it's just how long is it going to take us? How are we going to get there? Canoo wants to play a central role in that, obviously. So tell people about the kind of vehicles and the kind of applications, the use cases that Canoo is focusing on.
Sure. Canoe is really focused on how do we bring working vehicles to working Americans. And so we're really focused in the fleet space and with delivery and other working vehicles. Our first vehicles off the assembly line in Oklahoma City will be our lifestyle delivery vehicle. It's a small delivery vehicle, perfect for last mile package delivery, perfect for lots of working uses. And so we're really looking forward to supporting and meeting the needs of businesses, but also government agencies across the country in this working space. We think we're bringing also a valuable new technologies and ways of manufacturing that will benefit our company, but also be something valuable for this state. All of our vehicles are built on a common multi-purpose platform. That means that whatever the vehicle is that we're manufacturing, whatever goes on top, we've got the chassis for that vehicle. And that allows us more flexibility in our manufacturing so that we can easily switch between models as we get different demand signals. And we're bringing new technologies that have allowed us to really reduce the number of parts that we're using. About 1,800 parts in our first vehicle off the assembly line. That's thousands more than a traditional vehicle would have. And so that's really helping to insulate us from a lot of the supply chain and other challenges that are facing the industry as a whole. So we think we're bringing a great combination of exciting new technology, new ways of manufacturing, but also a really great vehicle that's getting a tremendous reception in the market. We've got about a $2.8 billion order book at this point, and a lot of great demand for our products.
All right. I may have misunderstood. Did you say 1,800 parts is a higher number than most vehicles or lower?
Far less than most vehicles.
Lower. I think you said higher, but I think you meant lower. All right. Because a standard, fossil fuel internal combustion engine type vehicle has thousands of parts. I mean, thousands. And the maintenance is a whole different ball game. With this type of vehicle, you have no transmission, you have no radiator, you have a lot of things that can go wrong with a car do not even exist on this vehicle. Makes it easier to maintain. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's no oil filters to change. There's so many of the parts that you would normally come to your mechanic on a regular basis to get serviced don't exist in our vehicles. So you're putting additional wiper blade fluid in, but that's about it. Our vehicles are very technology intensive, and so a lot of the updates that can be done to our vehicles can be done over the air with additional software updates and other things. So we're really reducing the need to bring your vehicle regularly into a shop and have scheduled maintenance. There are fewer parts to break and fewer things that can go wrong, and so that's also reducing the maintenance profile for these vehicles.
And I can see why, if I was a fleet manager, that would be just music to my ears. So here's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, for the Oklahoma workforce. And I know we're running short on time, so we'll make this the last question. When do you plan to start hiring? When do you think vehicles are going to start rolling out of that Oklahoma City facility?
We're already hiring for both of our facilities in Oklahoma City and in Pryor, and getting a very strong response to the opportunities that we're creating. So we're excited as we continue to build our workforce in the state. Right now, our focus is on standing up these facilities in Oklahoma City and Pryor. We've moved all of our equipment in. We have turned on power and water. We're in the process of securing all of the necessary permits that we need to begin production there. And of course, as I mentioned, are starting to hire as well. And so our focus right now is on manufacturing readiness. And we'll have more to say in terms of our start of production date at these two locations in the near term.
Chris Moore, Vice President of Electric Vehicle Manufacturer, Canoo.